Today, in our new home, we have one of South Africa's most sultry voices and biggest pop stars. Years of epic performance shots and a commitment to taking South African pop to the world, as well as, of course, his heartfelt lyricism. He is an epic performer, opening for massive international headliners like Callum Scott and having graced many of South Africa's most prestigious stages so far. Modern day Sinatra-inspired, future Grammy winner and future Madison Square Garden filling showman. His latest single, Headrush, is out now for us to indulge in as we welcome the new era of Lee Cole. Today, we have you in studio. Joburg South's very own.
I love the intro. Thank you very much. That was saucy. I was like, yeah, I've actually done it. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
I'm glad you like it. It's really rewarding to, feel like you're doing a good job of presenting someone. I take that responsibility very seriously.
Of course, naturally.
Yeah. So I'm glad when I do get good reception and people are like, wow, I've done this. That is the most fulfilling and rewarding feeling
100%,
ever.
100%. You've done the prep.
I mean, thank you. I hope so. I hope you agree with that.
100%.
So you've come a long way since your 2017 debut single, Fire for Fire. I want to go one step further back. South Africa really learned about you through the cover of Something Sowetu's Akana Mali.
Yeah, taking me back now. You're taking me back.
Because this is all about the journey. So I think it's really when we look at people, and especially musicians and people who are public figures, we see their journey and we often only learn about them once they've already blown up considerably.
That's true.
And so we don't see the whole process. And I think that's really disheartening for people who want to get started or, have an artistic bone in them or whatever the case may be, to only see the outcome of someone's growth and not actually the journey of trials and triumphs and every day showing up and getting to where you are. And so tell me more about that song. I mean, it's a cover you did in Zulu.
Yeah. It's so important that you said a lot of people don't know about the behind the scenes and how many years and hours, and you go through so many phases in your journey that you kind of forget them. It's like they say, when you put in the hard work, do it, because years later you'll forget about those hours that you put in. And now that you're mentioning these things, are just it flashbacks. And I'm like, yeah, I did that,
you've lived lifetimes.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like that because now you're here now, but it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, it almost looks easy when you look back.
Yeah.
You're like, I actually did this.
Yeah. But back then you were putting in the hours, you were sweating, you were being direct. So yeah, 2017, I was actually in China with a friend of mine, and Something Sowetu's Akana Mali had just come out. It was bubbling for a couple of months.
That's crazy. I had no idea you were in China.
Yeah.
We'll circle back to that.
Yeah, totally. And he said to me, he's like, Lee, you know what you should do? You should probably try your hand at a Zulu cover. And I was like, okay, let's try it out. And it was literally on the cusp of, I was in China and then I went to the States and recording Fire with Fire. And when I got back, I did the cover. I asked him for because for me, it's important that I get the accent right and I try and deliver it as authentically as I can.
Sure.
And when I played it for him, he's like, yeah, Lee, just release that bad boy. Just do it, And when I released it was the first time in my life I saw something go viral in front of my eyes. I put it on Facebook, and then every hour it's just comments, likes. And I think a lot of people could resonate with it. And it kind of put me on the map somewhat. I just, people started phoning me, Metro FM, all these radio DJs, and it was a cool taste of what was to come,
Yeah.
And that was a big eye opener for me. Then I released Fire with Fire, and when I think back about that song, I hate that song. But you have these moments in your journey that you don't really like, but they kind of shape who you are or who you're going to be eventually,
Yeah, they're necessary steps. It's normal to look back and cringe because you now have your own growth. You have
100%.
a much better understanding of your sound, because a sound is something that's constantly evolving, but especially at that beginning stage, you're still you're throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks for
100%,
you.
Yeah.
So,
and you're an artist, you know the drill.
I really
right?
do. I look back at my first song and I'm like, vocal delivery, ugh. But mad respect to that version of me who was an aspiring artist who actually sat and wrote a full song and recorded it. That takes balls.
It does take us. And people don't understand. It's I mean, like I said, you're an artist. When you make something in your bedroom or whatever, and you want to release a song or a poem or, a piece of art, you open yourself to the world's rejection.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Like, you like it, but there's probably, especially initially, a very high chance that people are going to absolutely think your stuff is ass. And that's how the cookie crumbles.
Essentially for a long time. You have to like just kind of tune all of that out. And it's difficult because you require an audience. And obviously the self-doubt just grows exponentially when you're like, but it's important for other people to like it. I'm not just releasing music for myself.
There's that fine line,
Yeah.
You kind of got to like what you make, but you kind of, people kind of still need to dig it. So it's a weird dynamic, but you find it eventually, I find. That's what I found. So
I think if you just like stay creating, the narrative becomes clearer.
100%.
And like your sound becomes more something that is only unique to you and no one else sounds like you. No one else has your specific stories and life experiences. But to go back to what you said, I mean, experiencing virality at that stage, it was also coming from such an organic place. I think, we know in the context of South Africa, there's few non-Black artists who were doing covers like that. So
100%,
you stood out. You were going into a culture and not just, trying to mimic it for the sake of views. Like it was coming from a place of
100%.
Let me do this well.
Yes,
let me cover a song that I like and do it justice. And the comments were hilarious. Like there's some comments that like really, really, really resonated with. You can keep the land, boo.
I remember reading the comments with my parents and we were just laughing because for me, I took those comments so much to heart because like it came from the most authentic place from these people. They were like, hey man, you're right. You don't normally, like, it's risky to do this kind of thing. And we kind of feel like you did it somewhat justice.
Yes.
And we praise that. And I was like, well, thank you. Thank you very much. I tried my best and I'm so glad that you kind of resonated with it, even though I don't really understand your culture because I'm not from your culture, you know? And it was, we had a lot of laughs. It was cool.
Effort goes a long way. And I think people genuinely can tell where something is coming from. Effort, like you want to reward that. Like it's like when someone speaks your language poorly, you're like, thank you for trying.
It's the effort.
You're like, you're trying to do this. And like that is more relevant than 100%. Like, oh wow, you mispronounced this one word or whatever the case may be.
I didn't care too much about that. It's like, did he try? Did he try and capture the magic that exists between us as a people, as a culture? And he might have missed the mark a little bit, but that effort is something that, you kind of have to reward at the end of the day, especially if it comes from an authentic place.
I think like the over 300,000 views are a testament to the fact that
100%,
it was resonant and that people appreciated where it was coming from. And it wasn't like a ripoff of anything, And
that, sorry to interrupt, but what it goes back to is music has that ability to transcend boundaries, transcend cultures, transcend color of skin, transcend anything. And it's such a powerful tool because when someone sings truly from a true place, I think it doesn't matter where you're from, it will hit you emotionally. And that is a powerful thing that a lot of people don't realize. And
I think we're seeing it more and more, to your point, with the rise of like genres in languages that we don't speak. I mean, I can just think of K-pop, songs like Despacito. Like people don't speak Spanish, but like that was consumed by the whole world. Like when Gangnam Style came out,
I was doing that in the kitchen making toast. I was there.
Everyone was vibing out to it because like you can feel it, and that's all you need with music. And I think that's what makes it such a powerful tool for bridging and connecting and overcoming like maybe perceptions that you might have. We're seeing it now with the Amapiano takeover of the world as well.
100%.
Like the white South African audience doesn't get it. The world also doesn't speak for knack, but it's resonating. People know how to move to it. There was another hilarious comment that I wrote down here. When can I start paying Lobola for you? I love that one. I love that one. It was a real fun place in that comment section.
There were a couple of good ones, man. Yeah.
So wait, tell me about China. Like, what were you doing in China at that time?
So at the time, sorry, we're just gonna.
No worries.
So much phlegm today.
Don't stress about that.
So I was in China, playing hockey.
Okay.
Yeah. So throughout my life, even before music, I've always been an avid sportsman. Soccer. So the type of hockey I play is roller hockey. Okay. And growing up, it was roller hockey, soccer. A variety of things. I've always kept like remotely very active. So And the cool thing about this roller hockey in this country is that it's not really such a big sport, but in the community, we get to go to like play tournaments overseas. And in China was actually the World Cup. So we went there to play. So it was really cool. And while I was there, that's when, my friend said, Lee, you should try that cover.
That is so cool and so fortuitous. I mean, it's honestly a very vital part of why you're here. You're not just a music artist. You're someone who really cares about like lifestyle, and sports is a big part of your life. And I mean, it's visible, and also like this is right here.
It's a good sport. So
I'm so glad to have learned about that experience. Like I had no idea, and it's so cool when you're in a niche sport, when it gives you access to the highest like tier of performance in that, and you get to go to the World Cup, and now you're meeting roller hockey players from all around the world,
the best,
the finest at their
literally
game.
the Ronaldos and Messis of the sport, and it's crazy, man. Like,
so what is roller hockey?
So roller hockey is a sport played like in indoor pavilion on like a wooden field, and it's 5-a-side. So you play with a stick and a ball. It's not really a puck.
Okay.
And your skates that you skate on are like roller skates. So it's not roller blades, but they're in line. This looks like a car. So wheel. And in Argentina, Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, it's a massive sport. Like you get paid to play. Like it's a proper thing. South Africa, obviously, the sport is a little bit smaller. So we do it for the love.
Sure.
But it still doesn't take away from the fact that we've played against the best. They absolutely give us hidings.
Yeah, but
it's the hidings that I'll take.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, we played against the best.
It's like the Prem and all of the teams, and then Manchester City. It's like everyone grows through that. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Everyone gets it. It's actually it's pointless for Manchester City because they don't have serious competition.
They don't. They're absolutely trying everybody. So I mean,
let's hope for better this season.
And I'm an Arsenal fan, so I've been on the losing end of Manchester City's dominance. So, but yeah, it's a beautiful sport, and it's kept me fit. And I think, music's my life, but when you have these outside things, they kind of, I believe in balance. So be healthy, eat well, have a good connection with family, a good connection with friends. Life is so multifaceted that sometimes music can't be the be all and end all of your life. There's so much more to life, and you got to have that one main thing that you do that's like part of your soul. But if you have a balance of things around that, I think that's what makes you truly rich and truly wealthy.
I agree.
I'm lucky to have all these different things around my life that kind of feed energy into me so I can pursue music.
That makes total sense. Yeah, totally. Because I know that some people are just more obsessive about some things, and I've never been able to fully relate to that. I definitely relate more to what you're saying about balance. Because like one battery needs charge, and then you actually have a lot of other things to fall back on that really fulfill you. And that way you're also not placing this unnecessary pressure on this one thing to be the source of all of your happiness and all of your stability and things like that.
You're so right, Eva.
I think it's just what we relate to, though.
I think so. And
I don't know if everyone's like this. Yeah. Because some people just live, breathe, sleep music, and that is how they like. Which is cool, exactly. I just don't relate to that.
To that. Yes. And I think it's important. I think everybody, most people that have maybe, you can kind of say like a traditional job, that traditional job is 90% of your life, as you'd say, which is good. But then you go home, you have a family, you go out to eat on the weekends, or whatever you do, however you spend those extra hours in your life, And I think people need to focus a lot on just shifting things, not to the point where you kind of get off track on what you're supposed to be doing, because I feel like music is my purpose. I feel like music is your purpose,
Absolutely.
We're in the same industry where these are the things that we need to chase. And not chase, attract.
Yeah,
it's a different dynamic, because sometimes when you chase something, it's like,
we're also songwriters. We care about the intricacies in words and the implications.
So it's, I think people, it's about balance and just kind of knowing what you want, but also enjoying life on the way to getting what you want.
Yes, because that's all there is. Like, is that journey. Like, there is no end point. Once you get to that end point, there's another end point, and then there's another end point.
You're never truly fulfilled.
Yeah, because the goalpost keeps moving as you accomplish those goals.
100%.
And I think that
yes.
I think the interesting thing about balance is that like different people's balance is also different. Like someone else's balance wouldn't work for you. It'd be so wrong. You'd be like, this is not balance. Like my balance is not your balance. Someone else's balance looks extreme. It's like not it's like obsessively, it's like 80-20 towards one thing.
Because we're all different. We're all different, right? So,
and that's what makes the world go around. That's why we're not all DJs and musical artists and storytellers. It would be like who would we be telling stories for if everyone was just using the same outlets?
100%. It takes all kinds to make the world. That's what it is. Yeah.
So yeah, we doctors, engineers, everyone, we appreciate y'all.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
Letting you guys know.
Shout out, especially good doctors, not the ones who are negligent and pushing pills onto people. Disclaimer out there. Yeah.
We just say disclaimer.
Just say something that really stood out to me from that cover that you did. I was just like looking at like the details. Like there was a poster from New York. There was another poster about New York, and if I remember correctly, you spent time in New York, right?
Yeah.
Like when we first met, you had
100%.
Just come back from the States.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like an Easter egg of like manifestation. Like like in your room, you already had these symbols visually around you. And for me, that was like a moment of, oh my God, he actually like manifested that journey and that part of that story. Do you have rituals for manifesting your vision?
That's a great question. I think, we can get lost in, like, for example, you have a passion or you have something that you want to do and you kind of set those goals and you kind of want this and that and that. And only now later in my life, I'm starting to learn the power of visualization. And it might not make sense and it might sound like pseudoscience and metaphysical and, think about what you want and it'll come to you. But it's not that really. It's because action is everything, right? So you've got, your goals, like say New York, for example. I wanted to go to New York. I kind of want to do shows there one day. But it's the constant reminder that you need to surround yourself with all these things that would eventually become reality in your life, right? So like my poster in my room is New York, the New York skyline. And I'm not there yet, but one day it will become reality. I don't know when.
Yeah.
And it's not my job to know when. It's my job just to do now.
Yeah.
That is fundamentally how life works. You've got these goals that you want to kind of achieve, and you've got to say to yourself, I'm not there now, but where I am right now, I also wasn't here where I am right now 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And we constantly live in this state of future. And I'm guilty of this. And so I have these things in my room to kind of keep me aligned, but to also like, okay, close that. That's where I want to be. Subconsciously, this all around me. One day it's going to happen. It's not my job to know when, but putting the work now and leave it. So you set the target and then you kind of leave it. So when I put all these things in my room of New York and all these things, it's like, it just keeps me subconsciously focused on the goal, even though I'm not thinking about it every day because I'm acting, I'm doing.
Yeah, you're taking immediate steps. I really, really like what you said about it's not my job to know when. Because like realistically, we would have never... 5 years ago, if you had a very strict vision of where you wanted to be in 5 years, you'd be very disappointed with things not happening exactly as you imagined. But you don't know best. You don't know your journey.
Yes.
Like so much of life, like we all are guilty of this. We know what we want. We can see it. We visualize it. Whatever. I think that goes for everyone. But we live in a world that isn't fully by our design. Like you step out into the world, you don't know how the next person is going to respond to you. This is a spontaneous conversation. I don't know how you're going to respond to the next thing I say.
Yes.
And so we're constantly in a world where we don't know how the next 20 minutes are going to unfold. You
don't know.
So how would you have a 5-year plan and this whole notion, and a 5-year plan is a thing. Perhaps it works better in some industries like that are more linear, like you have to complete your 5 years of med school.
Of course.
Whatever.
Yes,
but in the creative world and in sports, I think you take immediate steps, but you have a really big goal in mind and you hope you get there. And
that's what it's about. It's like you have these goals, and it's important that you have these goals and these aspirations and these dreams. But in the process, you can't. You know what? There's something I've learned this year that it was a hard lesson to learn, but it was something that's kind of shaped my life a lot recently. And it's sometimes people get into a state of desperation without knowing they're in a state of desperation. And I believe that what that does is you like I said, it sounds metaphysical and wishy-washy and, new age, whatever, but it's really not. I believe when you step out into the world, the way you feel about yourself and the energy you put out and how you think will influence what happens in your life, right? And when you're in a state of desperation, and when I mean desperation, it's like every day, why haven't I hit my goal? Why is this not happening? Why is this not happening? You're not realizing it, but you're kind of pushing away what you really want. Your job is to draw the line in the sand. That is where I want to be. And then the universe or God or whatever you believe in will guide you there if you are honest and authentic with yourself 100% of the way.
If you just take one step.
Just one step. It's not your job. It's not your job to know when you're going. It's your job to enjoy the process getting there. Yeah. Because if you can't enjoy the process,
you're doomed.
You're doomed.
You're doomed. Nothing like that. You'll be in a bigger house, nicer things, but the loneliness, the void, all of those things grow exponentially to the size of everything you accomplish.
100%. J. Cole, for example, I was watching an interview with him, and he said, now that he's done it all, he's got the money, he's got the fame, he's not happier than he was when he was a nobody. And he says people don't understand is like you said, the goalpost keeps on shifting. And that's why I believe my philosophy is my dreams and my ambitions, as crazy as it sounds, is a selfish thing. It's my pursuit of what I want to do in my life. And it's selfish, but it's a good selfish. You've got to have those, those things. But I anchor my soul and what I want to do in this life to things that actually matter. My family, being kind to others. Because I feel like if I had to lose my voice tomorrow, am I not Leandro anymore?
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
I'm still somebody in this world that I believe you should anchor yourself to things that actually matter. The careers and everything are the bonus on top of that. But if what truly fulfills you, most people don't realize you already have.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it takes losing it for a lot of people to realize what was actually important to them, what money can't buy, what, like you said, like you can't place your whole self into the thing that you love. And you use a very important word there about the selfishness. It's like, this is what I want to pursue. Not I need to pursue. Now you're making it hell for yourself if it's something you need to pursue.
100%.
It's like, am I needing it hard enough? And like you said, it has like the counterintuitive effect. Just like when, you're needy, you push the thing away that you really want.
without realizing it, right? If you want somebody to really come to your party, it's like that desperation that people kind of feel like, whoa, slow down, cuz relax.
Yeah, exactly. When you're like, I'm disappointed. Yeah. And like people are like, well, I'm probably not going to come to your next party either.
Thank you. You get it, you get it.
I mean, it's hard lessons in life. I've definitely been my nature tends toward the more needy character who's definitely pushed people away and seen the impact that's had. Well, fortunately, it's been like my own friends. And like I saw, this doesn't, or my partner, this doesn't have the effect I want it to have.
100%.
Right? You
100%.
think needing something is like you're right and whatever, but you're actually just having the opposite effect of what you wanted to do.
Because at the end of the day, we're just like everybody else.
Yeah, and like think about yourself. Like when someone puts a lot of pressure on you, do you feel more inclined to do the thing?
It's the opposite effect, right?
Yeah, you're like, actually
100%.
My self-will now wants to counter yours.
Exactly.
So I love it. Visualizing things through just kind of knowing where your ultimate dreams are and taking immediate steps. I think a question that I learned from this big entrepreneur person by the name of Alex Hormozy, he was advising that a lot of things aren't in your control. We've established this. Instead of wanting 1 million streams, what would the version of you with 1 million streams do? And do that. And I thought that was so empowering.
100%.
Because it's like, okay, now you're this big shot person. What does this big shot person do?
What does he do on the day?
What's
his mindset
what does his day look like?
100%.
Does he, 100%. Waste just as much time on the things that this person doesn't think is important? All of that. I think it's a really good compass for taking immediate steps.
100%. Because I mean, we want these goals, but then like Alex Hormozy says in what you said now is, you don't want to be. You don't want the goals. You want to become the person that gets the goals, right? That's what it's about. So once you've got to 1 million streams, you need to become the person that is capable of generating 1 million streams all the time.
Yes.
Because you're not after the 1 million streams, you're actually after that character development.
Yes, the audience size, like an engaged audience, like it's the implications. It's not that number itself doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything.
Aside from, streaming payments aren't even that much,
then,
guys.
And yes, you're buying Albany loaves, aren't you? Some Sasco Sam.
They do
just
say
to
pizza
make,
money. Huh? No, I got my first share of pizza money like a few months ago, and it was quite a milestone. I was like, hey, I got paid from streams. Like it was my first time like with that happening,
That's
and it was
deal.
like just a little bit over 1,000 rand, but like, and I had to share it obviously with my producer and like my collaborator who made that possible, but it was a milestone nonetheless.
100%.
I'm like, shit, I finally started making money. Because so much money goes into this thing. So much investment goes in for years.
And even though it's a small reward, it creates that feedback loop of something tangible has come from what I've been pursuing. And that's important.
We had a guest who said it really well. She was like, if you can make $100, you can make $1,000. If you can make $1,000, you can make 10,000. If you can make 10,000, you can make 100K. And it's like the first 100 is the hardest one for you to actually prove
100%
and make possible. And so I took it as that. I'm like, okay, cool. This is working. And it's not my place to say when it's all gonna work the way that I think. But I see it. I don't stop seeing it just because the whole world can disagree with me and I'll still see it.
Because it starts with your belief, right?
Yes.
And then your belief eventually becomes other people's belief. Because that's how it starts. It can't emanate from somebody else. It's got to emanate from you.
And it's like the belief becomes faith. And then like faith is the thing that, like you're supposed to be able to change your beliefs when, met with
100% granted
changing circumstances. This is just something I realized very recently. Like this is the past week. I'm not this enlightened all the time. We're constantly becoming more enlightened. But then I realized when I was having this conversation with my friend that, actually, like we say you're supposed to be able to change your beliefs when you encounter new information, but faith is the one that you're not supposed to.
Yes.
Like you're not supposed to let go of that just because something's disagreeing with you.
It's got to stay inside. The other thing I also realized is like in my life, when you want something so bad, it's almost counterintuitive, but you've almost got to be okay, truly, truly okay with it never working out.
Yeah.
I think
it hurts, but I hear you.
It hurts, but you've got to be like, even if this doesn't work out and I tried my best,
I gave it my best.
I need to be okay with that.
Yeah. And I think it would hurt more knowing you didn't give it your all.
Yeah.
Right? Like because you'd know that there was something that you could have done that you didn't do.
100%.
So you can only just try to do everything in your power and then like let go and let God.
It's been written already. Yeah. It's been written already. So you think you got all these fancy things or whatever, but whatever's going to happen has been written, I believe. And you've got to, in order to step forward, you've got to let go of that fear and that feeling of not making it or not achieving your goal. You've got to let go of that. You've got to push that to the side and be like, I'm going to give it my all regardless, but even if this doesn't happen, I'm truly okay with it because I gave it my all. And I think the opposite happens when you truly give something your all, it can't fail.
Yeah.
It can't fail.
That's a beautiful
can't fail, man.
Like
I don't believe it. And if you never make it or whatever, maybe you didn't try hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful paradox there. I think you are right. Like if you give it your all, like the thing is what happens, you won't consider a failure. Even if it wasn't like what you originally envisioned, like if you gave it your all, you wouldn't consider that a failure. Because you knew. You knew
what more could you have done?
Yeah, literally.
Just maybe it wasn't meant to be or whatever it was. But if you give it your all, I truly... And sometimes like life has a funny way of giving us what we need and not what we want. Right? And even though we're like, we argue with it, we're like, but I want it. But sometimes that's what you need. Because everyone's journey and everyone's end goal and why we are here in this reality to begin with is different, right? That's what I believe.
Yeah. And
comparing is the thief of joy, man. As an artist, you're like, that artist got so many streams and they're on their journey. Yeah. And you need to be happy for them that they're achieving that.
This is honestly why like the only guests on this show and why it exists are music artists and athletes. Because for me, the types of lessons that you have to face every single day and the thoughts that occur to you I think it translates to everyone else's journey.
I do think so too.
Like,
I do think so too.
We're all going through our version of this.
Yeah.
And because it's a very non-linear path, because life is non-linear, I think that the hope that I have for it is that our conversations and like the product of everything that we are working through right now can resonate with someone else who's going through this when they're trying to decide between studying this or studying that or studying or not studying and this and that. Like, we all have to make these decisions. And you're the protagonist in your own movie, but the plot isn't entirely up to you. The parts that are up to you are up to you. But things happen.
Thank you.
Things happen in that movie.
Thank you.
It would be a very quick movie if nothing happened and you went from A to B and it's like, ta-da, done.
Where's the beauty in that? Just
nothing.
Life is a movie and you just need to sit back. Don't rewind. Don't fast forward. Don't pause. Just watch the goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Stop fighting that Blu-ray DVD player that is on your desk. Just watch the movie.
You're so sharp with your analogies. You know what?
Watch the movie, you know.
Okay, so we're just speaking about how you are one of the faces of South African pop. I think it's really fascinating because again, similar genre to you and definitely in the same music industry. But this is something I say to all the people from overseas when I speak to people, that South Africa's, exceptional musical artist ratio to civilian population is really off the charts.
It really is, though.
It's ridiculous
how
many beautiful, profound, new ideas there are. Like, depends on if you believe in new ideas. But the point that I'm making is there's a lot of creativity and a lot of boundary pushing.
Plenty.
And even as the socioeconomic, bridge between the population is that gap is bridged. South Africa's population is really not that big for the amount of talent that it hosts.
100%.
You have had success overseas and chosen to come back. Why?
So the cool part is we have a very small pond here and people don't realize it. Like you said, now we've got such a small population. And what success means here is not what success means overseas, because there's a much bigger amount of competition overseas by far, And it's not just that, the numbers that artists are doing overseas and what they're achieving, like, pales in comparison to what we're doing. Well, not here, pales in comparison to what they're doing there, So you've kind of got these goals to be big overseas, but to be big overseas, you got to be doing something incredibly exceptional. And even then, you're just scratching the tip of the iceberg. That's just the way it is. And America is one of those territories that are incredibly difficult to make it in, because the sweet spot of hitting the audience and hitting the target and attracting, an audience there, the sweet spot is so small. Because, fundamentally, like, you're dealing with a group of people that have a different culture, listen to different types of music. There's so many factors that make other territories more difficult to navigate in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would say I've had moderate success, not even moderate. I've had mild success overseas, but that's the goal. We want to.
But hey, success is success. And proving the smallest point is the hardest one to prove.
100%. But I think what I wanted to do was, and I think I've done that now, is I've come home, I've established a bit of a base here. A lot of people know who Lee Cole is, and a lot of people also don't know who Lee Cole is. And we chip away every day, at building that brand and kind of getting people to know who I am. And I've always believed with the right song and timing and luck, something will happen eventually.
Yeah.
If it's in your journey,
Yeah. I think that there's always a factor of luck. But it's necessary, right? Like, we kind of want luck to exist. It would be kind of difficult to work towards some things without that factor of luck and fortune as two separate concepts that combine together. But yeah, that right time is the question with the right music. And I think it's really beautiful that you've gotten to experience that and have that be a part of your journey, that you just see that North Star and you know that you're moving towards it. And yeah, the more that it happens for our artists, the more it happens to more of our artists. And I think that that's
Paves the way, right?
It makes the pie bigger, especially because your listeners don't all have to be in South Africa, and that's the beauty
look at
of
Tyler,
it.
for example.
Yeah.
I mean, she's broken the boundary wide open, so it's
going to have a ripple effect on all of us. It's going to
100%.
It's going to extend things.
We're all connected in some weird way, man.
Yes, yes, we are.
It's
Aside from being pretty girls and boys in Joburg, like
100%.
Okay, so you've been taking music seriously since you were a child.
Yeah.
Guitar, songwriting, piano.
Singing, the whole thing, man.
Like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Taylor, who you know.
Yeah.
My boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, so they went to school together.
Yeah.
He was telling me like the memory he has of you so organically getting behind the piano at assembly and performing.
Yeah, he knows. He saw me when I was peeking in, right there, in the beginning. So
it's so beautiful to have a reference point like that, because obviously, like you're my first guest who, like, we actually have some real life connection and history backing the things up. Like, you guys are both children, and for someone else to remember that you've been doing this has been your journey for a very long time. Yeah. When did you, feel comfortable considering yourself as a musical artist?
Oh, that's a great question. So the irony is, when I was younger, I wanted to become a professional sports player. Like, I've loved sports my whole life. But it's like Mark Manson says, it's like a lot of things in life are counterintuitive. Just because you like doing something a lot doesn't mean that it's for you. And the reason why it's not for you is because for you to truly do something all the way, it's not the nice stuff that you have to fall in love with. It's the shitty stuff. Like, if you're a soccer player, you can enjoy giving people shibobos and dribbling and scoring goals and all that jazz. But do you like the fitness sessions? Do you like the constant rejection from scouts? There's a whole bunch of things that come into play there, right? So and music was the first thing in my life where I didn't mind the shitty stuff. Yeah. I was like, fuck it. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I don't care how long it takes me to get there. Yeah. This is it for me.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
The parallels just continue. Yeah. Totally. Cool. Our own rules.
Okay. Sick.
What are the shitty things for you?
A lot of sports music, these kind of careers where the margins of success are so small, because that's the reality, right? Yeah. That's
why luck is necessary.
100%. Out of every 100 people, you're lucky if one person makes it. That's just the reality of the business. Yeah. And I was okay with that. I was okay with, I don't care how long this takes me, but the odds are actually all against me.
You're like, I like my odds.
I like my odds. That's 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000. I'll take it, It's the constant mental rejection. Yeah. Because you put something out and it doesn't bang. Mm-hmm. And then you have to deal with feelings of inadequacy, feelings of unworthiness, feelings of, am I good enough? Is this for me? Constantly. You've got to keep, it's more of a mental game than anything else,
Exactly.
Once you eventually do make it, you get a lot of freedom. Like, you wake up whenever you want to wake up and things are rosy. But even to this day, there's a lot of, you've got to keep your mind strong. So that's one of the things that comes with music, is that you've got to get used to that rejection. Mm-hmm. It's a 95-5 ratio. Like, 5% of what you do is going to work out. 95% is going to be sheer ass. That's just what it is.
And you have to do the 95%. You have to be okay with it.
You've also got to be okay with spending a lot of time and not making a lot of money initially. Mm. Yeah. As an artist, like I said, that's going to say, and that's just real, man. That's, And so you've got to be okay with constant failure all the time. Yeah. And some people don't handle that well.
Yeah, and it almost needs to excite you. The failure, like there's something you're like, hey, I like it. I'm okay with this.
Bring it back. I want more failure,
For some reason, though, because I think it'll either destroy you or it actually makes you stronger in 100%. Some way. And you're like, I'm actually bulletproof. You can hit me with anything.
And think of it now. Think of yourself, right? Yeah. How thick is your skin now?
Far more than it ever was before.
It builds character.
Yeah, it does.
If anything, like.
Also, I strive off of being underestimated.
100%.
Like, watch me. Like, you don't like my odds?
Watch me.
You won't like my odds later.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are the things that come with this industry. It's constant rejection, not making any money. Another important one for me is, as I was growing, like early on in my 20s, I mean, I'm 29 now, but you're 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
Jobs.
Everyone's getting jobs. They're buying houses. They're moving on with their lives. They're buying cars.
Having children.
You can't afford to buy a Kauai smoothie. These things are realities,
Seamless.
and that can slowly eat away at you.
It does. Also,
if you're not
familial
strong.
pressure. There's so many things, like especially coming from cultures where education is really highly valued. It's like, what are you doing with your life? You need to build a career. I still have this conversation with my
Yeah.
dad, and like my
Yeah.
parents are like the most supportive of all of my creative endeavors. But they're like, you need to use your degree, and
Yeah,
you need to build a career. And I'm like, but this is my career.
Just
This
understand.
this is my career.
Me, man.
I see
This
it.
is me. Yeah.
But it requires a lot of people's support and acceptance. And also you have to be okay with them not accepting it. So you kind of have to be like, this is healthy delusion. I am Delulu, but going with it. It's like
I'll handle
nothing's
the delusion.
working.
No, but you're right. But
And you're like,
you do little dances in the mirror, like play a little clown music in the background. It's what comes with this territory, and that's why sometimes this industry is not for some people. It's not for some people. Talking about the smoothies.
He literally just mentioned them. Thank you so much.
This is good shit.
Cheers.
Man. Cheers, bro. Thank you.
Peanut butter
Cheers.
bliss and peanut butter
100%.
bomb.
Oh, man.
Shout out. So good. Also, it's one of the better things we could be sipping on that doesn't have like a
100%.
sound.
It's just silence.
Because I feel like water is actually,
you
it
get that
sounds
wet mouth
wetter.
syndrome,
Exactly.
the whole time. So
No, you're right. I think, and shout out and respect to everyone who tries it and realizes that it's not,
maybe
for,
not
them.
for them.
Like, I think it takes a lot of courage to just even try.
For me, my philosophy is whatever you do with your life, make sure that you're living life on your terms.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. If you want to become a plumber, a painter, an architect, a lawyer, a soccer player, a musician, whatever you want to do in your life, whatever resonates true with you, make sure that in the short time that you're here, in this reality, make sure you live life on your own terms.
What does that mean to you, to live it on your own terms?
To live how you want to live and not because you have to.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with being a plumber or being a musician. Is that really what you want, or are you doing it out of your own control?
Yeah, like an obligation to other people.
Yes. Like there are some people that love desk jobs. They love being there, doing the admin, doing the paperwork, going to meetings in boardrooms. That's great.
The work ending when it does, having their weekends.
100%, and working 10 hours. There's some people that love that, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. As long as it's your truth, as long as it's something that you can say and you wake up every day and be like, I'm choosing to be here and not I'm doing this because I've got no choice. And I think a lot of people have this unhappiness stems from they're in something because they have no choice.
Yeah.
And that's a very important distinction from whatever you're doing, just make sure that you're living life on your own terms.
And I think you can see that, and I especially respect and appreciate it and admire it in people who are petrol attendants and many jobs of that tier, where, when you get a really good service from a petrol attendant, and or like a car guard, or especially those guys who direct traffic, those homeless people who direct traffic, and they're standing in the middle of the road. They know that no one can even drive by and give them money, but they are taking on responsibility. They're almost doing it in exchange for nothing.
100%.
But they are choosing that they're going to be a valuable member of society who is contributing. It's so beautiful to see, because you just don't know, would you be strong enough to be them if you were in their position?
You brought up something so important now, because I think another thing that I'm starting to learn as I get older is sometimes to be of service to other people, even though you're not going to get any reward, is one of the best things you can do as a member of a society, as a member of this world, okay? Like those guys, I mean, they're not benefiting from that, but they're actually benefiting us in directing traffic, and when the robots are out, when Eskom hits us with the uppercut, these things are, and I just think it's sometimes, people do things with that expectancy of getting something in return. And I think once a week, once a day, just do something for somebody that you're not going to get anything from.
Yeah.
Because little pieces, little moments of that happen every day in the world, if you compound them and everyone's doing something like that, we're making this place a better place.
Literally.
Man.
As corny as it may sound, it's so true.
I promise you. Yeah.
And also we need to normalize corny being a good, because there's a lot of good kinds of corny. The thing is, right, with what you're saying about just paying it forward in small ways, we can't keep like going on with this narrative that we aren't capable of making a positive difference.
100%.
Because the $50 you might decide spontaneously to give to, a lady begging on the side of the road who has children, or, to the petrol attendant, you've made that person's day. Like, I don't know what else is more rewarding than actually helping someone, because now you're a hero in that person's story. And like, you can't really put a price on being a hero in someone's story, even for one day.
And it's contagious.
It's so contagious.
Someone does something nice for you, like, wow, we didn't have to do that. That's really nice. So then you go out into your day and you're like, hey man, don't stress, I got you. And you're like, because you know how that feels.
Yeah.
So you kind of, it's reciprocal. You kind of, it's like a virus, but a good virus.
It's a good virus.
It's not like COVID-19, it's just the good shit, And I believe just every day we wake up every day, and some people can be assholes. Some people can also be genuinely nice. And I think it's everyone's job every day to just go out into the world and think to themselves, how can I be lacquer?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be just be lacquer, bro. Just be lacquer. Be nice, be kind. It costs nothing, really. It costs nothing.
Yeah, because it doesn't always have to be monetary things.
No.
It could be actually thanking someone.
Yes.
And I think we would actually be able to disarm a lot more assholes.
Yeah.
Like, if assholes were constantly being interacted with like that, they would actually not continue with the same kind of behavior, because you would catch them off guard. You would literally disarm them.
Because they're like, oh, now I feel awkward for being an asshole, so now I've got to be nice back. It's crazy. But it's the truth. It really is.
I mean, you've already spoken to this about like sports being a big part of your life. Another thing that dates back, as far as your music, is your athleticism.
Yeah.
But, one thing that I noticed was that your content doesn't really show or share as much about your fitness journey. Was this intentional? Is this intentional?
I would say it is intentional. I think because I'm the Lee Cole brand, I mean, everybody knows that I post on my stories. Sometimes I'm at gym or sometimes I'm at sport. I've posted about it before. But fundamentally, because the Lee Cole brand's about music, I just want to showcase my music. I don't want to conflate ideas and people to get, oh, he's a musician, but he's also a sportsman. Because that's part of the peripheries of my life. It's in the peripheral. I do sport and I'm exercise, but that's more in my private time and in my personal life. Music is that's my thing, So I don't want people to get too confused, but I'll post every now and then. I'm going to Italy now for sport. I'm going to play roller hockey at the World Cup now in Italy, in Milan, which is cool.
Amazing.
We're actually leaving 2 weeks, so I'll be posting about it while I'm there.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Like, you've just actually continued with roller hockey. Like, it's never stopped.
It's never stopped, yeah.
That is so cool. But how did you even get into a sport that niche, like, as a child?
So the crazy part is, because it's so big in Portugal, in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 80s, there was a major influx of Portuguese people coming to South Africa, seeking a better life. Portugal was very poor at the time. So they brought the sport here and they grew it here. So it was played initially by a lot of Portuguese communities and stuff like that. But then it started to grow and spread into South African, and so now it's kind of spread a little bit. And because I'm Portuguese, my dad, has always been a very active component in the hockey. To be honest, he's the main component in SA hockey.
That is so crazy.
And I started it when I was a little boy, and I've just never put it down, man. I've traveled to so many places around the world because of hockey, so I'm so grateful for what sport can also do for you.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the fact that you're going to be sharing this process, don't discount the fact that like it's like every layer of you is an authentic part of the Lee Cole brand.
True.
Because the more people see the process that goes into things, you're just giving them more opportunity to connect with different parts of you as well.
Sure.
And I know that I love sporting stories. And so that itself would make me have one more anchor of connection.
Yes.
And so I'm sure there's more people like me. So yeah,
remember
us.
I will take that down on the notepad. Yeah, you're right.
No, but your content has honestly been very amazing. And I really love that as crisp and clean and high quality as everything is.
Yeah.
It's also very resourceful and quirky.
Yes. Yeah. I thought too serious, man. I mean,
but you can tell you play with ideas.
Yeah.
And that not everything is just like having, your core photographer team doing things with you. Some of them look very improvisational.
Yes.
And especially during the COVID era, probably shooting more on your own. And how do we turn normal life into cool subjects?
Yeah, something that people can relate to,
Oh, yeah. And like one thing that I noticed, and unsurprisingly, you have a very big female following. but
Yeah, I
especially
do.
among Brazilians, Hispanics,
South America,
Portuguese
they're such big
people.
fans, man. And it's look, I'm grateful. I'm blessed, and
It's
I'm thankful.
amazing. No, those are
But they
good
resonate
supporters.
with my kind of music and I just hope that kind of spreads, along. But South America, shout out, you guys are
Yeah,
amazing.
well, I mean, I think if you just get like South America, Latin America down, that is most of the world. If we
It is
look at
actually
like,
most of the
that's
world,
23 countries,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
those
yeah,
aren't
yeah,
small
yeah.
populations. If you look at like Anita and J Balvin and there's so many, Bad Bunny, these are just the ones at the top of my head. Like they have some of the biggest streams in the world.
And followings in the world.
Yeah, even I don't know if you know Sevdaliza.
No.
She's an Iranian Dutch artist, and
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
her most recent single, she collaborated with this French artist Guy Salute and Pablo Vittar, who's a massive Brazilian musician. And this is the song that's catapulted her to like the global 50
The
charts.
global stage. Oh, wow.
Literally,
Wow.
like her following has grown like threefold, and now she's
What's
like
her name?
Sevdaliza.
Sevdaliza. I'm
The
gonna check
song
her
is
out.
called Alibi.
Alibi.
Yeah,
Sick. Okay, I'll
it's
check it out.
charting
Yeah,
like
yeah.
crazy, and she's like
Okay.
the first Iranian artist to be in the global top 50 charts
That's awesome.
ever.
That's
which
awesome.
is sad and happy. Yes, we're happy for her, but sad that this is the first time it's happening.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'll
I
be
hear
the
you.
second. So
Sevdaliza. I'm gonna check it out.
I'll
I'm gonna
send
check
you
it
a
out.
link.
Yeah, please.
And one thing that's actually made all of this growth possible for her is the Latin American community and countries. So
they're so supportive. I promise you, they're crazy.
it's like the new Japan as far as fan bases go.
It totally is. Yeah, 100%.
It's so cool to see that. So yeah, you've been. Speaking of content, I wanted to ask you, how do you approach the storytelling and the content that accompanies your music?
Man, it's an ongoing trial and error process, I must be honest, because at the end of the day, like, social media is a funny thing, right? You've got to be authentic and you've got to show like these parts of yourself. And because my music is more mature in nature, because I write about more mature things, mature meaning, like more deep stuff. I'm a deep person by nature. So I want to like kind of share a story when I sing or when I write. And because of that, I'm very careful with how I portray myself on social media, because I don't want to come across as cringy or cheesy, but you've got to try stuff that works, right? So through the years, the one thing that kind of has always been part of the Lico brand is my style. I love dressing well. I love trying new things. And I think a lot of people, men and women, can relate to that. It's an expression of who I am. I like, trying new things. But it's an ongoing process, because, like you say, sometimes you'll post something on social media and it doesn't really resonate. Like we want to be authentic, but we also want to release stuff that nobody can connect with. So there's always a fine line between how you kind of navigate that. But it's an ongoing process.
You don't know what's gonna win. Like,
because what will work for you won't necessarily work for me.
Yeah, and also like I think sometimes what happens is, your content is organic to you, but perhaps the audience that you've built isn't actually there for the things you're doing.
Yes.
And that's kind of, to an extent, where I find myself right now. I think a lot of people that I've been able to build my audience on the basis of are my peers, are fellow members of the music industry. But they're not my audience. The same way I'm not their audience. We are supporting each other. We are peers. I know you. I will support you. Or you're, a music executive. You're a stylist. You're this. This is the creative community. Has been the majority of my audience. But we're not going to sell out each other's shows. We're not going to pay for tickets to every single show to support each other. You also need people who are there to consume your music because it inspires them, because you're telling their story in some way and capturing their lived experience. And that's the basis of the relationship they have with you. I mean, I threw a curveball with the Good Sport. They're like, oh my God, you've been loving football for years, but like, I don't think anyone was prepared for a podcast from me about sports and music.
Exactly.
Also, like, you do the thing, and the people, you just have to have faith that the people who are there for this specific message will find you, and they may differ from the people who really enjoy my music, and 100%. That it's okay for there to be two completely different groups of people who are there for different things.
100%.
But to the people who are there for none of those things,
Watch yourself.
I encourage you to unfollow me. I actually mean this wholeheartedly.
And I'm exactly the same way. I think to myself, like, whatever you're following me, make sure you're following me and supporting me. Like, if you're not going to like my stuff or engage with my stuff, then it's no hard feelings. Like, you can go, it's cool. It's not an issue at all.
It's just like better for the algorithms.
100%.
Like,
yeah. There's
like,
no point in having 100,000 people following you, but only 1% of the people engage with your stuff, you know? Rather have 1,000 followers. And you know, all of them, they vibe with what you're doing. And that's cool.
It's true. And you see it with some people who aren't even content creators or musical artists. Like, they'll have 400 followers, but then when they post, they have 300 likes because like everyone in their life is invested
in the vision, in the journey, you know? And I find for me with social media, it's like when you come on my Instagram, when you go to my Facebook, when you find out about me in ways that are not in person, I want you to get the sense that when you meet me in person, I'm going to be exactly the same way. I don't want fakery. Like, I don't have time for that shit. Like, when you meet me, be like, you know, I had a feeling about you on your social media. You look like this kind of dude or whatever. And when I met you, you're exactly the same.
Yeah. There's no shock. There's no surprise. That for me is important because then everywhere I go, I can always be as authentic as I can be. And I'm never lying to myself and lying to other people. Like, what you see is what you get. And it's very hard to maintain that in this day and age. Yeah.
But I strive for that as much as I can. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to strive for, especially because, you know, it can be so confusing. We're the first generation that came into social media existing. We all distinctly remember a time before it existed, and then it existed. And then we had existential crises of growing up, plus existential crises of, I know this person because I follow them, but like now I see them at a place and do I greet them? And like everyone's just playing this scenario out. And it's like, do we know each other? I know so much about their life. This person just had a miscarriage, but like, do I greet them? It's like, it's not normal.
Exactly.
It's not normal to like, we're the first people to ever experience that. And so like the more you try to be consistent and like not forgetting that the virtual realm should be an extension of the real realm.
Yeah, it should be.
Like, it's not like, cool, let's pretend like our lives are perfect on here, but here, I'm just going to be myself, and that it's something totally different
like
to that.
You look like this way on social media, but then when I meet you, actually a shy guy or whatever, like, no, fuck that. Be yourself.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
If you're always authentic, you're never going to please everybody.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Not
of
everyone's
life.
your people.
Not
the same way you're not ever, like, the thing is, like, not everyone is your people. Like, you have your own taste and what resonates with you.
And if everybody likes you, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. It's a bit like untrustworthy.
Yeah.
There's something shady there.
Exactly. There's always going to be someone that doesn't like your stuff. And you need that.
Yeah.
You need that. You know, you need that balance.
I mean, also, like, if someone's a hater, they're still engaging. Haters are very valuable. So
they are.
You know, you've gotten to a point where, like, when you have haters, it's like they're actually fueling the comment section. Like,
especially if you can win them over, that's a great feeling. With a comment, something, oh, you suck, you ass.
And then you're like,
and actually, like, you're not bad. I'm like, huh? I got you, Jared. Got you, you know?
Jared, we see you.
Some arbitrary name.
We know your handle. We know. So you already spoke about the fact that your lyricism is very heartfelt. It's taking real vulnerability and not only using your own lived experiences, but knowing what pain feels like. You're really translating love and pain into songs and that's why they have such an impact on the listener. I don't imagine it's always easy or fun to tap into your most vulnerable self and write from that place. How do you navigate that? Is it true?
Good question. It's it always depends on what kind of music you write. But with mine, I want it to mean something when you hear it. I don't want it to just be, oh, it's a cool track. Like, I want you to, like, wow, what he said there's quite profound, or what he said there I could kind of take and apply in my life, or this resonates with me. I've kind of experienced this before. And I think it's the crazy thing about songwriting is that you're pouring out your own emotions, but in a way, you're doing it in a way that other people can relate with. And that's not always an easy thing to do. Because you can maybe feel something that is unique to you that other people have never felt. And when you write about that, it's important that you do. But you've kind of, like you say, you can make music for yourself, but there's that fine line of, are other people connecting with this? Because that's what you want to do, right? You want to, when you tour around the world and you're selling out these massive stadiums, those people come into your show are coming to your show because they can connect and resonate with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because, oh, I'm in my bedroom and I'm writing this stuff, but I was like, cool story, bro, but I can't really connect with that, you know? So you've got to, I've always got like two kind of caps. This is how I feel, but how do I mold this and shape this into a way that Jared, Sarah, you know, Tepo can also be like, hey, this means a lot to me too.
Yeah.
And that's tricky to do.
I really get that. Because there's a difference between good songwriting and great songwriting. And I think that personal lens versus a more like finding a way to actually make the things that are maybe only comprehensible to you be comprehensible to more than just you. And I think that that's something that I'm still learning, very much still learning about songwriting. Because for the longest time, I'm like, I'm telling stories from my voice, in my voice, fully. And trusting that if you get it, you get it, which is also always going to be the case. Not everyone's going to get it, no matter how universal a way you find to convey this sentiment that we all share, or something that like the sentiment we can all share. We don't all have the same lived experience, but you're not going to win everyone over.
You can't, and it also goes without saying, you can't always continuously chase that external validation of, will people like this? Because then you kind of taken away your authenticity of, but I'm not really right.
You need to like it.
100%.
You need to like
100%.
You're not going to perform it day in and day out.
No.
Not this again.
But you're right though, because when you're on stage, you're going to be singing those songs. You need to be comfortable performing them as an artist and connecting to them, to those songs every single time you sing. Because if you can't, that's where now you're living a lie.
Do you remember like the first songs you ever wrote and what they were about?
I do. It's about love, man. I was 13 and it was still about, the first song I ever wrote, I think it was like, I was 13 and it was called Please Tell Me What's Love. Oh, it's so cringe, it's so cheesy, but I was 13,
no,
man.
but that's so cute.
And even
oh my God, that is the type of guys that like all 13-year-old girls were hoping existed. But like you didn't know. You're like, everyone tells you, no, that's just fairy tales.
It was literally called Please Tell Me What's Love. Yeah. Please tell me what's love. Ooh, please tell me. I even still remember the melody. It's ridiculous.
Kind of Jason Mrazzi.
It kind of was.
It kind of feels like that. That's the vibe I'm getting off of.
And my voice hadn't broken yet. So it was like this high Justin Bieber kind of voice, you know.
That's very cute.
But you got to start somewhere, and at already from an early age, those kind of roots were always there. So I kind of always, I feel like I write better when I write about love and about people connecting to other people. Every time, and what ironic is that every time I'm super sad or super down, you just have a really bad day and you're trying to write, shit always comes out. It's never good.
Yeah.
When I'm in a calm state and I'm just letting things flow and I'm not harboring on my emotions, it's like I'm not putting my emotions into the song. I'm happy or neutral and I'm just referencing my emotions to write and not being in my emotions to write. I'm just referencing my emotions or experiences to write. That's for me is the key for my...
Which are the songs that have like radically outperformed the other?
Oh man.
Which ones were they? Like I know the names of the songs, but which one of the two experiences was it?
It was, I would say, I Don't Want to Wait.
Yeah.
I Don't Want to Wait, man. That's just connected to people. I think because we had just gone into lockdown.
But where was that coming from a songwriting perspective? Was that more you were already in the fields and now that song was a product of that? Or
no, I wasn't sad at all. I was actually just writing. I love the melody. And I kind of just stuck out to me like, this has got to be about someone letting go of a relationship that's no longer serving them. That's what this is going to be about.
That's so like, that's every day.
100%.
And so many, like, it can be your relationship to a habit you have. It doesn't even have to be a person.
Thank you. It can apply to a broad range of
I think that's the power of love. Like it sounds like love is just love stories, but
it's not.
There's so many types of love. And I think that like the storytelling, whether you're grieving someone, your dog, your
100%.
Friendship. There's so many different forms, like maternal love, this love, that love.
It goes deep. It's wide.
Yeah, it's a big topic.
Yeah.
And, depending on what your listener's going through, they will, interpret it like
and choose to see what they need to see.
Yeah.
100%. And that's the crazy thing about, because we experience love every day in all shapes and forms.
Yeah.
We're just not aware of it, but it's true,
That's true. Like that, even that going back to what we said about repaying kindness and things like that and just paying it forward, that's also love. You're like, wow, I just felt love from a stranger. They didn't have to do this.
It is love, yeah.
That is love. Like
That's
that is
love.
literally what you're putting out there. You're an amazing performer, and
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm very curious to know, like, what were your worst and best like performance experiences?
Oh man, I've had a few. Yes, I've had a couple. And I'm like,
I'm sure the bad ones come to mind first. They're like,
So, one of the ones I can think of at the top of my head is when I was younger, I performed the national anthem for this event.
Okay.
So in order to open up the event, I had to sing the South African national anthem, and I cocked it up so bad, so bad. It got to, I sang, the first part, and when it got to the 80 blow, I just went blank. I even but I was doing it a cappella, so it's not like the track was going on, it was a cappella, so 80, and then I just and you just hear the audience going, and then they kind of just started singing along, and I just joined them, and I awkwardly giggled because oh, this is not good. So, I mean, you need these moments that humble you and that kind of keep you on the ground, And then it's especially in South African industry, you get you're humbled every day. You can go from performing at Joburg Day to the next day performing at a event where there's 4 people there. That's just the stark contrast of what you can experience as an artist in South Africa.
The more you know.
The more you know. The more you know. So I've had a lot of crazy. Sometimes it's just the performance is okay. It's people weren't really feeling it or whatever.
Yeah.
And you've just got to remind yourself you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself, and hopefully they connect with it. It's not, I'm going onto stage and they better like what I have to do. It's not, no, don't be that guy.
That's actually very interesting, because it's you're going to do what you're doing. You're going to tell your story. They may not be the right people for it.
If there's one person or 1,000, it doesn't matter.
They're not obligated to like it, but you are obligated to like what you did.
Thank you.
Or accept what you did. Even if it's you on a semi-bad day, you still did it. The fact that this story was in 2015 and that in no way deterred you from getting back on stage. And now you're throw the national anthem at me. I'll take it. I'll do it.
I got this, bitch.
Yeah, I got this. I remember that. Yeah. I will double down on the Afrikaans part.
I remember that.
I'm manifesting this for you, rugby sevens or something of that stature. Take that national anthem.
Oh, it's coming.
And
it's coming.
Yeah, I see it.
Sure.
I see it. I feel now it's it's out there. Other people are helping us manifest this at the right time. You'll see me soon.
I'll be seeing 80 Blow right on Supersport 3. I promise you.
We have this recurring segment on the podcast called Rep Caviar.
Okay.
So we compile a list of our guests' favorite workout jams into the podcast playlist.
Okay.
I won't put you on the spot unless you have 3 songs that you can think of.
Workout related?
No, the thing is, what do you train to? What do you like to listen to music when you work out?
I actually very seldomly listen to music when I work out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it because hockey's a team sport and
Well, yeah, you can't really play with earphones on the field.
Sure.
Yeah, but even when I gym, I'm in music all the time. So sometimes I actually just want silence. Because most of my day is listening to my songs, finishing my songs, listening to other songs that I like that could inspire me. So I'm always in that process that sometimes I just need. Sometimes I'm driving the car.
Driving. I was going to say
no music. And it's awkward.
Coming back from studio, especially. I'm either on a loop listening to what I just recorded, the rough bounce or whatever, or full on silence.
Yeah. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
So I can't really say but I mean, songs that kind of pump me up. There's a Spanish song. It's actually a South American song.
Yeah?
Called Otro Atardecer.
Okay.
It's by, let me check the name.
Check it. Again, no pressure.
I'll tell you right now.
I'm going to get 3 songs out of you,
You're
one way or
gonna get 3 songs out of me.
Yeah.
So it goes like this. Where's it?
Because also you're not the first person to be I don't listen to music when I work out.
For good reason. I think you know why.
And I was shit.
Yeah.
This is not the
by
thing
Bad
I
Bunny?
thought it would be. Oh, by Bad Bunny.
And
okay,
the
cool.
Marias. Have you heard of the Marias?
Oh,
amazing. So it goes like this. And this is connected to my Bluetooth in my car. So let me just do that. So it's just got such a cool vibe. Puts me in a good mood. This will pump me up before workout, I'm sure.
Hey.
And then it's
road trip, drop top, Cape Town.
100%.
That kind of energy.
That kind of thing. And there's a couple other ones. I'm a big fan of Tom Misch, so I like smooth jams when I'm like this one here.
Name? What's the name?
Tomish.
No, the song?
Oh, Cinnamon Curls.
Cinnamon
yeah.
Curls.
He actually released it the other day. There's a couple of others, but so that's two. And then I'll tell you, there's actually one now that I'm digging. It's actually by a guy called Amino.
Amino.
I think that's how you spell it. Amino, yeah.
Amino.
It's Only Drink. I think it's called I only smoke when I drink. Something like that.
I really dig those like weird song names that are that kind of sentence length.
This thing is such a banger. Like if you're gonna work out,
vibes. Dajol.
You can see where it's going. So I would say these three, but when you get to the drop, I don't know how long it's gonna take to get the drops. Let me fast forward. You'll see now, wait, you'll see. I feel like we just started partying, you know, just like.
I love a good build up. Let's go. Nasty. Love it.
So that's definitely.
You made that hella easy.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
I would
so
say those three.
Those are your contributions.
I will send you the links and you can put that in the playlist.
No, all good. That's why I needed the names so that I can
remember them.
I can remember them when we do the playback and then compile it into the playlist.
Beautiful. Let's do it.
Yeah. There's another thing that I started it with one person and then it became a segment that I'm so obsessed with it. Because we share so much of ourselves on social media, our captions are a really good place that expresses our philosophy and our journey in steps.
Yeah.
And this section and this segment is called quote unquote.
Okay.
So I'll be reading you some of the things that you've said before.
Oh, wow.
And,
okay.
Yeah,
this is cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Let's see if this passes the vibe
either
check.
asking you to expand on it or just tell me how it makes you feel. This one's really beautiful. May 2020, you said, 2 years ago, I made myself a promise that a song of mine would hit 100K streams. Yeah. Yesterday, my song, I Don't Want to Wait, hit 100,000 streams on Spotify. Yeah. It was a goal I held for quite some time. I didn't know how or which song was going to do it, but wrote it on a piece of paper and stuck it on my wall. December 2022, 2.5 years later, 2.5? 2.5, yes. Yeah. So today, I Don't Want to Wait joined the Million Club. I've been an independent artist my whole career, and this is a big deal for me. No help, just a song that connected with you guys. Thanks for changing my life.
Yeah, shit, man. It's making me emotional. That's crazy.
It's so crazy. 2.5 years, 10x.
Yeah.
Like
literally
the biggest goal that you thought was even possible in 2020.
Yeah.
10x. What transformation happened during that time for you?
I think when you're a dreamer, you start to like, at some point, I think it's for every artist. I think you start to kind of lose that ability to dream. You're like, yeah, maybe I'm just reaching too much. And then when it happens, you're like, yeah, I knew it, you know? And I think that it's like you said, like, watch me, you know? When you eventually do get it, you're like, you don't even care what everyone else thinks. You're just like, I'm proud of myself. It's like hey man, you did it. You said you're gonna do it and you did it. And it's just another goal ticked off the list of whatever I'm capable of in this life. I believe in what I can do, and to do something you say you're gonna do is one of the rarest forms of true discipline.
Yes, and especially when, like, with everything we've spoken about, how it's not entirely up to you. You do your part in all of this, and you are proud in the fact that you gave it your all. And the goal, I think, you know, aside from the fact that we've already established the number is one thing, but what it proves is that if you work at it long enough, it will happen.
It will.
Because it didn't happen overnight.
No, it's taken me the craziest, longest time ever.
And it just goes to show your goals will take way longer than you think for things to happen.
And people don't realize that, but they happen.
But they happen. You might be this close, as in to use something that one of our other guests said. Like, you know, she'll keep digging because the treasure might be a centimeter away, and if you just stop digging, you don't know how close you were to that treasure.
And I find that usually when you're on the cusp of what you want and what you've wanted and what those goals you've set, that's when things are the most difficult.
That's when you'll be.
You want to turn around and go back, but no, don't. Keep going.
I mean, you can't. It's also like you're backed into a corner. You can't go back. There is no going back.
Just keep going.
Like there's like nothing to fall back on. There is no back. But
100%.
But you're like, can I opt out? Maybe this is getting scary. This is getting real. Now my responsibilities are so much more terrifying than you're like, am I even capable of doing this? Like, this is where I'm in the big leagues now. What happens?
Exactly. And another thing that I must just say is to practice gratitude.
Yes.
I think when you're feeling insecure and you're anxious and you don't feel worthy, just practice gratitude. It can be anything. There's always something to be grateful for. Always. Even if it's the fact that you woke up today to live another day.
There's so much to be grateful for. I mean, that's like the first one, right? But it's like having the loved ones that you have, everyone else's well-being and health. The fact that your dog is around still, like, there's just so many.
I promise you, it sounds ridiculous, but it's not. Like, think about yourself, right?
It is the foundation of life.
Say tomorrow you blew up, you are the world's biggest artist, but Taylor, I still love you, but say Taylor got into a bad car accident and he's not here anymore. None of what you achieve will even matter in comparison to having someone like that in your life gone from you.
Literally.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? That's how I think of things. It's like, people don't realize everything they really, truly, truly need that fulfills them and that makes them happy, most people already have. You just need to remind yourself of it.
Yeah, every day. And like your blessings almost multiply exponentially when you're actively taking stock of all the things that are going right in your life and all the things that make up the joy in your life and give you fuel. Because your dreams give you fuel, but they're also they're vague, they're abstract, they don't exist in they're not material.
No,
they're not things.
I
don't know.
You can't grab it and touch it and be like, here's my dream.
It's not skin. It's not
it's not a table. It's not a kawaii smoothie. It's not.
Look at this boy. Come on, join the family.
Sponsor the good sport.
Sponsor the good sport. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there, I'm looking for the next quote. If there's one thing you need to know about me, it's that I never stop writing. I can be in the oddest of places, doing the wildest of things, and a melody for a new song can suddenly pop into my head. It's exhausting sometimes, but it's always worth it.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. Even to this day, I'll be like chatting to you, and then when I walk out that door, a random melody, like on the way here, I recorded a couple of ideas of and sometimes you might never use them. Eminem.
Yeah.
There's stories of circulating like back into 2000s when you had all these bangers. I think he still does it today. He keeps a little notepad in his jacket and he's always writing lines. And he puts it back in. He's always writing lines. And then one day I saw like in an interview, they asked him like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just writing. And he said, 90% of this is absolute shit, but it keeps that muscle going the whole time because I believe creativity is a connection to the divine. I believe it's like, because it's not tangible. Like when you make a song, right? You're pulling out ideas out of your ass, man. Like this stuff doesn't exist.
Yeah, and the good stuff, it doesn't feel like it belongs to you.
Yes, you're channeling something. It's not like you're building a table of wood where you're nailing something and you're building something physical with your hands that exists. You're channeling something that is non-existent. You're pulling something out of the ether. That's what it is, right?
I agree.
And if you have a direct channel to that and it's chosen you to be like a conduit of that kind of thing, then it's your responsibility to bring that forth into this world at all times.
Yeah, the muse rewards. The muse rewards showing up.
Yeah.
And showing up's very hard. Like, you've been writing songs for far longer than I have. How has your relationship with songwriting, changed? Or, like, have there been times that it was just very hard for you to write and you've not done it and all of that?
I feel like the songwriting's gotten better because songwriting can also be a skill. You can get these ideas, but the way you carve and shape that's the skill. That's what that's where the tricky part comes in. So as time has gone by, I felt like my songwriting, like this new album I'm working on, is by far and large the best I've ever done. And I don't even care if no one likes it, whatever. I'm so proud of what it is and how far I've come as someone that's like trying to do everything by themselves.
Yeah.
But there are phases in your life where just ideas don't come and don't get dejected. It's just a phase.
Yeah.
You've got to believe that it's okay. I've been here before and I'll write again.
Yeah.
Because, you know, writer's block's a real thing.
Yeah. And like the only way to really, to my knowledge, navigate through that is to not stop being creative. Like just because like you're word dry, you're not melody dry, you're not incapable of practicing the keys, learning this other musical skill. Like the concept of the muse as a divine, you know, force. I don't know if you've read The War of Art. It's a beautiful book.
Okay. I'll
send it to you.
Please.
Stephen Pressfield put it really beautifully. He speaks about the concept of resistance, and it's like he says like that, like the greater the resistance you feel, like the more you know that this is actually one of your creative callings. And everyone faces that when doing anything creative. The resistance that's like, what about tomorrow? Like, actually, like, do you even feel like doing this? Oh, but it's going to take you so long to get good at the guitar and all of those things. And he's like, the muse is the opposite, the antithesis and the antidote to resistance. The muse rewards showing up. It doesn't matter what you do.
You just got to show up, man.
You just got to show up.
Drive, yeah.
Because also the good ideas feel like they're coming from something above you. Like they never feel like, I came up with that. I said it. You don't want to claim it like that. Do you get what I mean? You don't feel the urge to be like...
You see, that was the divine side in you when you're right, you know. It doesn't, you're just a channel through it comes out.
Yeah.
You know, and especially if you are lucky enough to experience these little insights from wherever this creativity, wherever these ideas come from, it's your job to bring them out.
Yeah.
It is, man. It is.
Definitely. And I think, I forget who the quote was attributed to, but it was something it was one of the Indian gods saying it, I think, to Krishna.
Okay.
That you're entitled to your labor, not to the fruits of your labor. And I feel like it speaks so well to like the creative process and how like you're proud of where you are.
It's a great quote.
It really is. Hey, but it's a hard one to put into practice. It's tattoo worthy. Let's go. You're welcome 100%. To use it. It's not an original. There's no new idea.
I'm gonna send you a photo.
Run with it. Yeah. Oh my god.
On the coffee.
That actually that seems cool. Like a really nice placement for it. No, for sure. Like we will circle back when you get that tattoo.
You know what? I'm gonna get a coffee tattoo of what you just said. Sure, watch.
Another quote I have here is, first week this year, I haven't sung a single note. I haven't thought about music, and sometimes breaks like this are the resets you need to keep growing. How do you realize when you need a break?
I think when you're more worried about the result than the process. That's when you need a break.
That's a nice one. I think that goes for
then you slowly
whatever you're doing.
Falling out of love with what you're doing, and you don't want to do that because remember, the result is the result, man. It's just the result, and it's easier said than done because I mean that's why we want to get things done. We want to achieve certain things, but it's like you're saying on this entire podcast is just be in love with the process and enjoy the journey. Enjoy the little things that don't go right. Enjoy the little things that do go right. It's all part of this beautiful thing we call our journey, and just watch the movie, bro.
Yeah, just watch the movie. I love it.
Yeah.
Second lastly, we have a quick round of rapid lava questions.
Okay.
Don't think about the question too much. It's
off
like speak. Yeah, off the cuff. Let's go.
Okay.
Walk me through a typical workout.
Sure. Depends on the day, but if it's a Monday, I like to do legs first.
Okay.
I will do a little bit of like 5 to 10 minutes of just boxing.
Okay.
Just on the back, just to get my heart rate up. And then I will do squat always first things first because it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, and your heart rate like just goes up the quickest through squats. I don't know
and it
why it's like
you,
that.
Man. Squats are it's that uppercut. It's all the time. So I'll squat, and then after squatting, then I'll do a lot of explosive kind of workouts because obviously for sport, speed and explosiveness, counts a lot in hockey.
Like circuit type vibes or?
Not really. I'll just take like a bunch of dumbbells and I'll like lunges, but as I lunge, I'll jump up into the air.
Okay, cool.
To that dynamic movement. To that explosiveness. I'll then do hamstring curls. I'll do leg press, and then I'll do standing squats with like 2 dumbbells, and I'll just jump up again. So a lot of that kind of movement. Yeah. And then that'll be kind of it for legs. For chest, I'll just push-ups in between, bench presses, dumbbell presses, flies. I do a lot of flies as well. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just go to the gym and just do the thing, man. And
How
master your
often
technique.
do you do the roller hockey training?
So I actually haven't been to gym in like a month.
Okay.
So don't take my advice.
You're going to the World Cup in 2 weeks.
But because at hockey we're doing all these things already, so
Fair
I'm like,
enough.
yes, it's charming me. So I've lost a lot of weight, but I'm starting to lean out now because we're obviously going to Italy, and strength is not really as important as fitness and explosiveness on the field. So because we do so much on the field already, there hasn't really been a need for gym for now.
Fair
When I
enough.
get back from Italy, I'm definitely hitting the gym again. Yeah.
Okay,
for sure.
awesome. It's nice that you get to experience Italian summer in a World Cup competitive,
Oh man, just like,
roller hockey setting.
The pasta, the pizza. That's good.
After the game.
100%.
Okay, go to Nando's order and flavor.
Man, you know what's up. You know what's up.
Man, you know.
I would say a
Joburg
hot
style.
pot
Yeah?
with casa pap, and that shit goes down. And then I'll get that, and then I'll get a half chicken.
Oh, nice.
That combination.
Oh, very good.
That's my go-to
Flavor?
order.
Flavor?
Lemon and herb.
Lemon and herb?
No, I'm a
Boy.
mild man. I'm a mild man. Yeah.
Not even Mozambican paprika? Is that too much? What?
That shit burns my throat, man.
No ways.
I promise
You
you.
don't like spicy food?
No, I do like spicy food, but not all the time. Not all the
Okay.
time. Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Would you ever release a song in Portuguese?
I can't say no, but right now, probably not.
Do you
no.
speak Portuguese?
I do not so well, but I do.
Okay, so you'd be able to write.
Yeah, kinda. My dad
not-
would have to be overseeing some of the words,
Sure.
but I could write one or two things. Yeah.
I think that you would.
Thank you.
We'll
yeah,
circle
yeah.
back when this happens. You'll remember that I asked it. What's an unexpected genre you're into?
Sure. Classical.
Classical.
I love
Nice.
classical music. Yeah.
Any favorite composers?
I love Beethoven. I love Bach. And in more modern times, I'd say Hans Zimmer. I love Hans Zimmer.
Beautiful.
I think he's amazing.
Yeah, and just very nice for that movie of life that you're watching, huh?
Yeah. Like you play a song in the car and then you just look out the window like in a music video.
But it's like that your movie life analogy, like with Hans Zimmer playing, like
watch the movie,
epic.
bro.
Watch the movie.
Put the soundtrack on and just watch the movie. Yeah.
Do you have names for your instruments, like pet names?
I don't really, but lately I kind of have. I was actually on an interview with 5FM, and one of the she's awesome, and I think her name is Nick Dawson. It's got a white Fender. It's like baby white guitar, electric guitar.
Yeah.
And it's a really good looking guitar. And she said to me, "Do you have a name for your guitar?" I said, "I don't." She said, "You know what a cool name would be?" I said, "What?" I said, "Oh no, I lie." I said to her, "Think of something and let me know what you come up with." 5 minutes later, she comes to me, "I've got the name for your guitar." I was like, "What?" Dune. I was like, "Okay, let's do it."
Dune.
Yeah.
I love it.
So Dune is the name of my electric guitar.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Nick Dawson, the artist and who used to be the compiler for Tux FM.
Yes.
Shout out, girl.
Yeah, Nick,
Awesome.
you named my guitar.
Yes, that is such a cool story.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
What's your dream city to live in, aside from Joburg?
Sure. So I was going to answer and say straight up, I've been fortunate enough to go to a lot of countries and see different cultures, and so there's nothing like South Africa. For people who want to leave South Africa, you guys are crazy, man. We have a lot of shit here.
Yeah.
But home
so
is
do
home,
they.
man. The minute you arrive at the
But
airport
so
and you
does
see,
everyone.
SA, it's just, there's a special energy in this place.
Yeah, there really is.
We've got so much shit in this country, but it's a special place. But to answer your question, if I had to live overseas, there's something about Europe, and more specifically, Scandinavian countries that intrigue me. I'd probably live like Norway, Sweden. There's something about that.
Okay. Have you visited Scandinavia?
No, but I'm going to Switzerland now. So after Italy, I'll be going to Switzerland for 2 days. So I'll be seeing Switzerland's not really Scandinavia, but I'd love to go to like Denmark, Norway.
Yeah.
One day just to see those countries. Yeah.
No, for sure. I get that. They do have, they've always scored very high on the happiness index, those countries.
For good reason. Somebody's working there.
Yeah, socialism's working there as well.
It's
like the only example of it working.
Yeah.
But I think it's also like Joburg is also like, it's such a flawed and imperfect city, but there's something to it. There's something that's unexplainable. It's very hard to explain it to people who've never been.
Can I ask you a question? Do you feel now post-election that there is something in this country that's bubbling that is so positive?
Yes, definitely. I think
I feel that. Yeah.
For one, a lot of people's nerves are calmed from the fact that this was kind of like the safest, most positive outcome that there could have been. Like, You have Jacob Zuma to thank for like the election actually going to a national government of unity. Like these things were like they put a lot of people's minds at ease. And we're seeing even with the case of, you know, the reshuffling of the cabinet and the people who like the bad apples that everyone knew were bad apples are removed. And, you know, the backlog at Home Affairs is moving. And, you know, it's like
everyone's kind of working together, doing their part. And I'm like, that's South Africa, man.
But South Africa is like at this point where it's it is just like, it's almost becoming mainstream. Like the way that it's like,
I mean, Drake is just one, you know, he retained his title at UFC.
Is the undefeated,
he's the man, bro.
undefeated, and still.
And Springboks are winning. And it's just, there's so much positivity about what this country is doing right now.
Tyler.
I mean, it's beautiful, man.
New category, new Grammy. Like, there's so much more. Like musically, we're breaking
barriers. We really are.
It's beautiful. Yeah. And you know, 8 years ago when I moved to South Africa, people used to be so shocked. They're like, you chose to move
you from
here?
Iran?
Yeah, I'm from Iran. And I moved here from China. And, you know, people were like, are you insane?
You've lived in different cultures. You've seen how people live.
Yeah.
You more than anyone, I would say, because you've actually lived in those countries, you know. Because when you go on a holiday, you don't really... it's impossible to tell what it's like there. Holiday's holiday. Living there is a different story.
No, totally. And, you know, South Africa's been my home since I was 18. It's like the home of my music. This is where my music was born. So 100%. As much as I'm an Iranian artist, I'm a Middle Eastern artist in South Africa, I'm also a South African artist. Because this is like the home of my music. This is it.
It gave you that platform to express yourself musically. Yeah, it's here.
And I've spent my whole adult life in South Africa, like since 18. And that's like...
It's a big deal, man.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's almost getting as long as I've lived in China.
How old are you now?
I am 26.
That's a lot of time in this country.
It is. And like people used to be shocked. Like people used to be like, what? You chose to move here? Like you didn't have to move here? And now people are way less shocked. No one is shocked anymore.
100%.
And I love that. That's growth. That's evolution. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
I'm vanilla, baby. Jack Harlow. I used to like chocolate.
With everyone
it's like
who
strawberry
says that.
a lot. But now I'm like, well, also about balance. And vanilla sometimes not too sweet. It's not too...
A good vanilla ice cream though. Like
slaps, man.
Aren't you like picky about vanilla ice cream though? Or do you like all of it? Because I feel like there's some that are just exceptional.
And
but then there's some is just plain flavored. It's not even vanilla. It's like white flavor.
Yeah, it's like white paint. It's just like, it's not my cup of tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
And lastly, describe a Portuguese goodbye.
A Portuguese goodbye usually takes about like 45 minutes because you start saying goodbye and then you talk in the hallway and then you move 2 steps and then someone asks, how's your dog doing? How's your gran? Oh, the food was love, thanks for that. And then jeepers, man. Like I've been at Portuguese functions where we've said goodbye to people and an hour later we're still there in the parking lot because they're still talking. That's a Portuguese goodbye.
I love that. You instantly knew what I was talking about. Taylor's stepmom's also Portuguese, and like we have this conversation all the time because it's true. It's so similar to Iranian culture. We also have this. Like sometimes it's so bad you get invited back in. Because the conversation takes so long that they're like, are you sure you don't want to come in for tea?
You guys want dessert?
Literally, you're like, are you sure you don't want to come in for tea? Like, let's just, like you've leaned against this wall for too long and like things like this.
Your elbows even getting dry. You put some Vaseline on the elbows because you've been waiting there for so long. Yes, sis. But it's, I mean, you're Iranian, you know, there's a sense of, especially the Mediterranean kind of cultures, there's a sense of unity and community with us.
Yes, it's the cultures that like sit at like the dinner or lunch table for like 3 hours with no one's in a rush to get up.
With too much food for the people there.
Too much food.
Always.
Being force fed. It's a blessing for real. The cultures and the liveliness that like we come from. And it always makes you very conscious that like with abundant cultures, it really sucks to be poor also. Because when your culture is very hospitable and things like that, I think about it when I think about Iranian New Year and like we're a very lavish, like extravagant, abundant type culture. But for those who don't have that must be even more stark. And like, it makes me sad. It just came up to my mind. That's why I said it out loud.
I hear what you're saying.
But there's a lot of beauty to it, and it's made it so easy also for myself and Caroline to connect because it's like we're like it's 2 different cultures that are the same. Like they have the same moral code and everything. Okay, we have arrived at the end of this conversation.
It's been fun, man.
I'm so glad.
It's been fun.
I'm so glad you're having fun. I've also had so much fun talking to you. I think there's just like obviously our shared experiences of being musical artists, being in a very similar genre world as well, but also just deep thinkers, songwriters, love for sports.
Yeah.
Although
yeah,
my love
yeah.
has definitely, evolved more as I've grown up.
Yeah, yeah.
We end off with one book that has changed your life. It doesn't have to be self-help. It can just be one thing that, has been transformational for you.
I would say the one book that I read that I was like, wow, I can relate and resonate with this so much is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Yeah. You just read that and it's like, just reaffirms like, your ideals and how you see the world. And that's one book that after I finished reading, I was like, yeah.
I think, there's a certain magic to, like alchemy is one of my words of the year. Alchemy and faith were like the two words that on December 31st of last year, I was like, this is what I will for this year. And I think that music is how you turn the mundane and the real into something that just
Beautiful.
like makes your heart either do this or that, or like it just makes you feel things that are very hard to make other people feel.
100%.
If you wanted to make someone feel
100%.
a certain way, it'd be very difficult if you try to approach it in that sense. And so that is alchemy. And we can all use so much of it in our lives of turning the
mundane,
normal,
into
the things that
something
you're so used to
extraordinary.
seeing into the extraordinary. You're an amazing sport.
No,
Thank
you're
you
amazing,
so
man.
much.
This has
Thank
been-
you so
this has
much
been
for doing
amazing.
this.
Thanks for having me. It's
I've
been
learned
beautiful.
so much from you, and I wish you the
likewise.
best of
Yeah,
luck
yeah.
on your World Cup journey.
Yeah.
And with the new project. I mean, I loved Head Rush. I know that
Thank
this
you.
is a new era, and if you're proud of it, we will all hear that. We will all feel
100%.
it
And I
in the
believe you will.
music.
Yeah, you'll hear it straight
I
away.
can't wait. I can't
Yeah,
wait to
yeah.
see the album and
Thank you.
every
Thank you.
step that leads up to that. You're an amazing sport. You're a good sport. Thank you for being
Thank
with
you.
us. And I hope
Thanks
you're
for
keen
having
to
me.
come back.
Without a doubt.
Yes. With that tat, hey?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On the calf.
No,
on the
you're not
calf.
coming back unless
I'm
you
going
get
to do the
that
whole interview
tat.
like this the next time. It's for proof,
Oh my God. I'm so massive.
I'll join
with
you.
my...
All right, so how does the outro go?
No, there's no outro.
Just no outro.
That's it.
Okay. Well,
But
there
you can tell people what you got going on.
Hey, like, have you seen Hot Ones?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Look
that
there,
camera,
look
that camera,
there,
that
that
camera. Well, I have a couple of shows coming up, but you can follow me on social media for that. But more importantly, I cannot wait for you guys to hear my new album. It's going to be crazy, and I'm proud of it.
Are you going to tell us the name?
So the crazy part is I'm currently looking for a name. Because I've got all the
Okay.
songs already, but I want a really cool, memorable name.
You want the name to come to you.
If you had to think about an album name for me off the top of your head, what would it be? Knowing what you know about me.
What I know about you and Head Rush and Blind are part of this
Already part of
project.
this project, yeah.
Okay. You're really putting me on the spot there, man.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever it is, even if it's cheesy, corny, whatever, like any idea will help.
Days I Know. I don't know why.
Days I Know.
Yeah.
See, guys, this is why we come.
I don't know what that is, but like I just spoke out of intuition. I don't know what that means.
The Days I Know. That's awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The Days I Know.
Do with
I'm
that
gonna
what
play
you
around.
will.
I will.
Do with
I
that
will.
what you will. You have no obligation to use this.
On Spotify, just do the title by it. Watch me. That's awesome.
I'm glad I could contribute. I spoke from the heart.
You know,
Thank you for
the
speaking
divine
from
just
the
connected
heart.
to you right now. Like,
Yes,
listen,
I felt
tell
that.
that man with Days I
And
Know.
it was like,
yeah.
Days I know.
Beautiful.
And that's a wrap.
If you think you know a good sport with an inspirational attitude and story, hit me up. Please remember to like and subscribe so myself and Aiden work even harder to bring you more good sports and amazing guests.